But Mike, why would I want a creatine stick pack? I'll show you why. That is why. All right, welcome to PricePlow. So as you see, Primeval Labs, who does have a creatine monohydrate powder, has also put it out in stick packs. And that's something we've never seen before, something we never thought before, and something we didn't realize a lot of people would like, but apparently it's selling really well because a lot of people do want to take their creatine, as they should, but they are not wanting to bring a whole tub around. So creatine stick packs it is. We recently just covered the Primeval Labs electrolyte stick pack, strawberry banana flavor, the best, which can be mixed with this. So this is real basic. Every single stick pack here, there's 30 of them per container, has 5 grams of good old-fashioned, plain old creatine monohydrate, nothing else, no fillers, no nothing else. And so that's what's kind of novel about this is it's an old ingredient in a new and popular form factor. So we do have a blog post talking about this. We've covered creatine many times in this channel, and in general, I hate to use this phrase, but I'm gonna have to use it. As far as we can get, as far as we are concerned, the science is settled. Yeah, I just said that. The science is settled. Creatine monohydrate consumption is safe and effective. And so in the article, we talk about this. This has been long known. It's not like creatine just magically appeared as a dietary supplement out of thin air in the late 1990s. This is a naturally found molecule that is stored in your muscle tissue, and it turns out when we get levels up to saturation, we're able to use it. What it does is it provides phosphate groups for our adenosine triphosphate ATP molecules, which are our energy currency molecules. And so when we saturate our muscles with as much creatine as possible, we are able to do lots of stuff a lot better. And it's not just muscle, but mostly on this, this is a sports nutrition channel, we do talk about the muscle stuff. So I'm going back to a meta-analysis type study from 2003. This is 19 years ago. And in that study, there were already 300 studies that they were covering with creatine monohydrate. They were studying this to death in the late 90s and early 2000s because it was controversial then. Time and time again, it showed to be safe and effective. It's found in meat. It's not a big deal. So, but it is a big deal if you're not getting enough meat in or creatine in through generally red meat, but also chicken or other types of like poultry. But red meat is the best source. We talk about that on the blog post. That'll be linked in the YouTube description. What I want to talk about there right here is this study from 2003 from Richard Creeder and team titled The Effects of Creatine Supplementation on Performance and Training Adaptations. 300 studies at that point in 2003. And in general, the reason I want to talk about it is because they have a nice thing called the 5 to 15% rule. In general, and it depends on your situation, in general, short-term creatine monohydrate supplementation, they found this in 2003, led to 5 to 15% of gains in strength and power, 5 to 15% gains in work accomplished during max effort sessions, 5 to 15% gains in work accomplished during repeated sprints, and 1 to 5% of gains in sprint performance. So in general, and it's going to depend a lot on your diet, your training, everything else, but you're going to get about 5 to 15% better. Is this going to make you Mr. Olympia? No, but does that make a difference? Yes, it does. And in general, this is my personal theory, the groups that were like on the lower end of getting like 5% performance gains were probably eating a lot of meat already. They're already getting a lot of creatine in. And if you look at the numbers, which we have in our blog post, in general, like around 2 pounds of meat per day is going to be enough to get you about enough creatine, depending on your size again, how much is going to waste away out of your muscles, about 2 pounds of meat per day. If you're not eating that much meat, I do think you should supplement 3 to 5 grams of creatine per day. In general, so there's been plenty of studies, but I like this 5 to 15% meta-analysis. Pretty much kind of covers enough that we need to talk about. So we talked about how it works, provides the phosphate groups for the ATP. Now, in this article, we also talk about the body's creatine requirements. And so in general, we're going to, as males, and females are going to be, just the numbers be a little bit less. In general, we excrete about 1.6 to 1.7% of our creatine each day. In general, males are going to hold about 160 grams of creatine in their body. A lot of times they're found to only have about 120. There's room to build up. And that's why a lot of the successful studies back from the late 90s, early 2000s were doing loading. They were taking 20 grams a day for about 5 days, then cruising at about 5 grams per day. That's the fast way to get to saturation faster, but you could also just take 3 to 5 grams slowly over time and eventually build up to saturation, get to about that 160 gram threshold again, it's going to depend on your muscle mass and all your size, height, of course, and all that too, how much you have on your frame. And then, so yeah, women are a little bit less. We're going to lose a little bit, but in general, that's going to basically be that we're going to excrete roughly 2 grams of creatine per day. That's how much we need to replace. But if you want to get above and beyond, that's why we always say you should supplement 3 to 5 grams per day. I think 5 is a better way to go, unless you're like a small person or ever. 3 grams per day is pretty good. So you get that in one stick pack, which I haven't yet finished because I've been talking a lot and not drinking my Lost and Found energy. So cheers to Primeval Labs. Taking a classic, trusted, and true ingredient and throwing it in stick packs. So apparently a lot of people want to put them in their bags and they don't want to bring a whole tub around. Amen to them. Thank you very much. Check out PricePlow.com/primeval-labs. Sign up for some news. Check out my video, best flavor ever, strawberry banana electrolyte supplement, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with you next time. Oh, and the last thing is this, I have a young one in my presence right now, but their Ape SH Star T pre-workout is the one ingredient that's not actually in there. There's a lot of muscle builders. It's like Ben called it the FU pre-workout, because that's almost everything. The one thing it doesn't have, 5 grams creatine. There's the betaine, there's plenty of other things. If you take that pre-workout, toss in one of these, and you're good to go.